That's just cray-cray.
It is. It is just cray-cray.
Colin had a problem and a microphone to spare. Thomas took it up and so the podcast went to air. For weeks and months they trolled through every single DVD. They've unwrapped all the ones they can and now they're cellulose free. Now they're cellulose free.
Hello, dear listener, and welcome to Cellulose Free. My name is Colin, and with me, as always, is my fellow film watcher, compadre and son, Thomas.
Hi, hello.
What incredibly amazing, excitingly things have you been up to this week?
Last week I said that I planned to go out and see a ballot draw.
Oh, that's right, that exciting thing.
And so I went out and saw a projected screen 15 minutes after a ballot draw.
Huh.
Yeah.
By which stage I could probably have sent you a text saying this was the result.
No, because they didn't publish the result anywhere until roughly 6 p.m.
Oh, I think I heard somewhere some things. And I could have made up some numbers too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did see the result. I just didn't see what I actually intended to see, which was the drawing of balls from a bingo machine by a blindfolded person.
Oh well.
Yeah, the bus was late picking me up, and then there was a driver change in the middle, and then I hit the stop button, and it stopped at a non-express stop.
So it was an express...
It was an express service, yeah.
But the driver was being kind. Unfortunately.
And then I unnecessarily walked down the intercity cycleway an amount when I actually needed to cross some rails.
Oh dear.
Things went poorly, and if I had been maybe a minute, 2 minutes later, I wouldn't have even seen the result, because they were packing down pretty quickly after that.
Yeah. Oh dear. Well, you'll know next time.
Yes, to take up my mother's offer to drive me to the place, instead of relying on 3 separate buses to go correctly.
Yeah.
But no, the walk back into Hobart was nice. I have found that the key to a good walk is knowing where you can refill your drink bottle.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Which is why I researched that well ahead of time.
Ah. So there is a site that shows where...
There is a site that shows some. You sort of have to cobble together information from a range of sources.
Yeah.
But, there's some Taswater ones that are on Taswater's website, and there's some Hobart supplied ones that are on not a Hobart website, but another website. None of the Clarence ones along the Clarence Foreshore Trail are officially marked on any maps, but I have now put the ones between Gilston Bay and Howrah on OpenStreetMap.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Turns out I didn't need to worry too much. I did find my way to each of the ones that I'd marked out before my drink bottle was empty, So
which way did you walk back to town? I'm assuming that's what you didn't walk home,
I
did
walked
you?
back into town from my State Bank Arena.
Yep.
Just sort of a meandering route that took in 3 parks.
Okay, so you sort of stuck more to the coast than the main roads. Did you?
No, it was fairly central.
You'll have to show me a map later.
I do have a map. I can show
curious.
you my map.
So you didn't follow the bike trail then?
Part of the way I did, because that made sense at the time.
Yeah.
It just depended on which parks I was intending to collect water from.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a nice walk.
Good.
Yeah, not too much up and down, but still a couple of hours.
Yeah, it's a fair slog. I've done that a couple of times.
Yeah. Anything else happen this week? Doctor Who premiered.
It did.
And I thought the episode was fine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I discovered that I follow the guy who actually designed the little droid.
Mm.
The Scrub. Was it Scrub?
Polish.
That's what it was. Or spoilers. Sorry, anyone who hasn't watched it. Yeah, he's an artist, designer.
Yeah, some lovely retro-futuristic aesthetics throughout the episode.
Yes.
The plot was so-so, but I liked how the episode looked.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I felt it was rushed, basically. That they had 2 episodes worth of story, potentially, I think.
I don't know that they quite had 2 episodes, but...
There was a bit of jumpy going on there that just whiplashed me a bit.
The trouble is that it still has to fit into a BBC One schedule.
It does, yeah. Oh, well, anyway.
And, you can ask for more time, but you aren't necessarily going to get it.
No.
Anything else?
I don't know. You tell me.
No, just slowly cobbling together some sort of presentation for the younger folk in the family regarding the federal election.
I would like to point out, I have not put this pressure upon Thomas. He's taken it on himself. I would be quite prepared to do something, but no, Thomas is...
And then after that, it'll be pretty much straight into preparing for the Legislative Council.
Yeah, that'll be a little easier.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shorter also.
Yes.
I think next week, sometime soon. I think before the federal election, we'll know who the candidates are for the Legislative Council election.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you for sure, and so instead I'm going to ask you what you've been up to.
I am feeling very weary because, I've been trying to get more steps in with a bit of terrain at the same time, getting the heart rate up a bit. I had a bit of a scare. Well, it wasn't really a scare. Just at the last plasma donation, apparently my heart was skipping a few beats there. And so I figure, let's get myself a little healthier again. Talk about yo-yoing. My goodness. You could probably, if you are a solid listener to this podcast, be able to track where I have my health kicks and then slacken off and then health kick again and slacken off. And yeah, it's yo-yo city, which is kind of common anyway. But
it'll be interesting to see if I can keep even the irregular exercise that I've had going throughout the winter.
Look, you might find it's actually easier because, yes, our winters get cold, but I don't know, it can help actually in walking further in that you're not being hit with a blazing hot sun. And the amount of times that you'll be stopped by rain is still pretty slim. So
yeah, despite indications to the contrary, Hobart is not particularly rainy.
No, it is the second driest capital city in Australia.
Yeah.
So there we go. Yeah, so I've been walking and taking photos and clearing my head a bit, which has been good. Except for the fact that I'm feeling very achy and, there are certain joints and muscles that are telling me that, hey, you haven't done this for a while, I can tell. Thanks you. So, we have a film to watch.
I have looked it up. We find out who the candidates are the day before the federal election.
Good.
We do have a film, and I have...
a plot synopsis.
I have previously on.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought we decided that wasn't relevant for this film.
I'm going to read it anyway.
Oh, good-o.
Because it will become relevant later.
Yeah, but we've got cake.
Yeah, I know we have cake.
We've got cake.
I'm still full up on fried rice.
Oh, I want cake.
I'm going to read the previously on now.
Okay, read the previously on.
Previously on Speedy Angry People. After going on the run and ending up in Miami, ex-cop Brian is caught by the FBI and teams up with his former friend Roman to go undercover with a drug kingpin. The job culminates in a money-running scheme which involves a car switcheroo, a mass scramble in a warehouse parking lot, and multiple plausible death threats. In the end, the pair jump a muscle car off a ramp and crash it into the drug lord's yacht, successfully clearing their criminal records and secretly sneaking some of the money out from under the FBI's noses. But don't worry about any of that, it doesn't matter. And now for something substantially different.
Good. And I gave up cake for that. Thank you. We are watching The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift. Would you please give us a plot synopsis?
Sure. Sean Boswell always feels like an outsider, but he defines himself through his victories as a street racer. His hobby makes him unpopular with the authorities, so he goes to live with his father in Japan. Once there, and even more alienated, he learns about an exciting but dangerous new style of the sport. The stakes are high when Sean takes on the local champion and falls for the man's girlfriend.
Who's Sean Boswell?
New character.
That's what we're going to watch. We're going to stream it on some streaming service. What do we watch it on? Stan, is it?
Yes, no.
No.
I think it came off... Hold on.
Uh-oh. We're going to discover that we can't actually watch.
No, I suspect we'll be fine. It's just... Oh, no, wait. Apparently it is still on Stan. Maybe I am misremembering that because it came off of Netflix. We'll watch it on Stan.
We're going to watch it on Stan. We'll crank up the set-top box, watch it on Stan, and then we'll come back and talk about it. So we shall catch you on the drift side.
Turn to the side. That is what you need to do if you are drifting.
You need to turn the opposite lock to the way the car is. Roll the tape.
Pull the handbrake.
You mongrel. So what did you think?
I think that this film is actually pretty well constructed.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not great, but it's all right.
Okay. Fair enough. I was thinking that
Yeah.
at the beginning of the film, in that, hang on, this is pretty solid. And then it starts doing some dumb things. And
I'm okay with it doing dumb things.
okay. All right. I should clarify as far as it starts off. It starts off with a whole bunch of people going through security. And here I am thinking, okay, it's some kind of race meet, and they're all entering in that. And they've already established this main character here going through the gates. And I'm thinking, he's probably 24, 25, and wanting to check out the cars there. And then it slowly dawns on me, incredibly slowly, which surprises me now, because all the signs were there, that they're actually at a school.
Yes, this is a 17-year-old we're talking about.
Okay, can you determine how old he was when he was playing a 17-year-old?
He was 23.
I was close, wasn't I? It did not work. He was not 17. There's absolutely no way he was 17. And so, okay, the history of cinema is just absolutely riddled with older people playing teenagers. Yep. Grease is probably the go-to for unrealistic portrayals of age. Yeah. So I did compartmentalise that and, right, let's move on from that, brain-wise. And then they have the race when they break into the estate. And that is when I thought, wow, they really have upped the game. I'm actually feeling adrenaline. Mm-hmm. And the previous films, I really haven't. I think I've emphasised that I feel that kind of adrenaline far more if I'm playing the game rather than watching the game. But the way that first race was filmed, even with the suspension of disbelief of a car on the road being overtaken by a car on dirt, on an angle, on rough terrain. I still accepted, all right, the adrenaline is still there. And then the crashes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, whoa, no one's coming out of that alive. And then, okay, we need to suspend some more disbelief here. And apart from a few scratches, everyone's in the police office rather than in hospital.
The girl's busted her head open, something fierce.
Yeah, but those kinds of accidents, you would not be immediately sitting in a police station. You would be spending a number of days at least in a hospital.
Handcuffed to your bed, probably.
Yeah, probably. And yet I still felt that up to that point it was feeling smart. And then we get to Japan and we have the cocky kid, in quote marks, thinking that he can just hop in a car and drift. And that race, yeah, there was still adrenaline there, but it was really silly as this car just crunch, fall apart. It would not have surprised me right after he finally pulled up and in the state of the car that all the doors just fell off. My headspace had got to that point that would have not surprised me at all. Yeah, but then it just kept on flip-flopping between, wow, this is just adrenaline pumping, I'm really, really into this, to dumb things happening. And then back to adrenaline, and then dumb things happening. And then them being really... if you're not connecting the dots, audience, we'll connect some for you and make a Karate Kid reference. Because this is what it was. And I'm not saying it was Karate Kid 1, it was Karate Kid 2, where he's suddenly thrown into a strange world, which happened to be Japan, and doesn't know the rules, and quickly learns the rules and gets incredibly good at it. But did they really have to actually join those dots and verbally make a Karate Kid reference? I loved it and was sorry, it was a cut above all of the other ones that we have watched because of that fact that they finally actually got the adrenaline happening. And possibly some of that had to do with the fact that a number of years, I don't know how many years it was between
2 and 3, 3 years.
3 years.
2 and 3.
So as far as CGI is concerned, that had come along a lot. I did make a joke during the closing credits referring, there were matte artists, which means there were definitely matte paintings happening here. But it was still, I've waffled, haven't I?
I like the balance made between the street racing segments and the rest of it. I think it's a much better balance. Yeah. There is street racing in this film.
Yeah, yep.
And the stakes build throughout. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's good.
Yeah, certainly better than the first two. But yeah, there were just points where it was almost like a gear change, where you'd get the revs up, you get the revs up, and you're getting really excited, and then they drop down a gear. And why did they go there? And then why did they go there? One thing that did confuse me was that car park. It changed car parks completely as they went up the car park.
Right.
It was a traditional rectangular car park, and then suddenly he goes up a side ramp, and then I'm quite sure that the circular car park that they moved into is actually in America.
Right.
I could be wrong there, but it was certainly a completely different car park altogether. I would stake my left kidney on that. That's the one with the extra arteries going into it. And that threw me. You go, what's going on here? They have built an older style car park, or at least the spirally thing was a lot older than the bottom section that they were driving in. which just doesn't make sense. It threw me. Anyway.
Well, I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah, I did too, and that the adrenaline was there, and certainly that last race, even though it also got silly, the tyres hanging off the edge. It was very James Bondish as far as a mountainous car chase is concerned, but again, it had that build up very much like the finale of Karate Kid 2. Where there's honour involved and shaming of uncles or fathers just a blatant rip-off of Karate Kid 2, the ending of Karate Kid 2, but with cars. And I'm also still fine with that, but if they're going to do that, and maybe they did make that verbal reference just so that, we know we're doing Karate Kid, so let's just put our cards out on the table and let you know that we know that that's what we're doing. That's the only reason I can think of that they made the reference to it. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's certainly the best of the three that we've seen, I think.
And next time, we go back to America.
Mm.
And also back in time a bit.
Okay.
To a time when Han was on Dominic's crew.
Ah, okay. That's smart. Actually, I can live with that. I can deal with that.
And I believe we are now finally working out what a Fast and the Furious film is. Which it turns out, as far as I can tell, not a street racing film.
Okay.
An action film that involves cars.
Right, yes. I'm hoping that there's a little less of the whole scantily clad girls bopping around the cars. That's just getting a little old, but maybe that's one of the hallmarks of this. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, I've gone through all my notes.
Oh no. Okay, one more film that involves street racing, and then we're doing some other things.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to get into some heists and stuff.
Yes.
Would be my guess.
But anyway, that's 4 weeks from now when we watch Fast and Furious. That is the entire title of the film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not faster and furiouser.
We have run out of sensible titles.
So we're just going to get silly now. Well, to get us a little closer to that big event in 4 weeks' time, I think we might move on.
The following segment has no title. Thank you.
We will start with some back catalogue comments.
Okay, we shall go back in time.
On our episode on Ad Astra, we start on YouTube with Dunkel.
Hi, Dunkel.
Who says, we have to make our own badge-making software?
Oh.
As punishment for sticking around this long?
I feel so bad. I tell you what, if you send us a stamped self-addressed envelope to the address that is appearing on your device's screen right now, then we shall send you a badge. Okay? There we go.
There is no address appearing on screen at this moment.
No, you can do that.
It is possible to do.
You handle that, okay.
But we're not going to do that.
It is actually hidden in the subtitles.
Do you want to start up a P.O. box?
Appropriately in the Japanese language section of the subtitles.
We'll really splurge. Go for a locked bag.
Dunkel, look, I'm sorry, but our budget is somewhat slim, and so that's how that happened. But I tell you what, I'll give you an arbitrary point for that comment, though. There we go.
That is sufficiently arbitrary.
It is.
I accept this proposition. Also on Ad Astra, over on Spotify, Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
I also can't forget about the other dance trip my studio took to New York City to see the Rockettes. What I did was go to the M&M's store and got, who would have guessed, M&M's.
I would have got M&M's too.
But I'd also been taken to the theatre district and saw the theatre that Hamilton was performed at. I'm going to be back there in August for Heathers.
Ah.
I also can't forget about the Rockettes show. Of course, the classic high kicks were in there, but it was amazing. Seeing pros thinking, wow, that could be me someday.
Well, I hope it is you someday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Caitlin.
Back on YouTube with Dunkel on last week's episode. I listened to the untitled segment mostly while waiting at a bus stop next to a non-Italian restaurant. I went home and didn't eat Italian food.
Okay, now you say it was next to a non-Italian restaurant. So did that particular restaurant have a certain cuisine that is famous for, and therefore did you go home and have that same cuisine when you got home? That's what we want to know.
So tell us.
I guess this isn't...
It's wildly asynchronous communication.
Yeah, we'll stay tuned and find out whether Dunkel had...
relevant food.
Yes.
Dunkel also makes a film suggestion of Heat, assuming it wasn't in a currently unuploaded Still Under Wraps.
No, it was not.
Which it wasn't.
So we shall add that to the list.
Dunkel is also responsible for the one guess.
Oh no,
that
we
has
had one
been
from
made.
Helen.
Oh, I did not see that
Helen
comment.
suggested sweater. Okay, I made that up. Before Thomas gets too worked up about, where was that?
Well, there is one place that it could have been that I wouldn't have seen.
The Facebook.
And specifically your Facebook,
yes.
which has no comments on it.
All right. Okay.
Don't do that to me.
You can calm down. Helen can calm down.
Our one guest this week is from Dunkel, and it is Jumper, which is correct. And so you've earned yourself a second arbitrary point this week.
And a badge. Oh, no badge. There's definitely no badge involved here.
We don't need no stinking badges.
Oh, dear. All right.
Yeah, and with very little further ado, that's basically all she wrote for our 250th episode.
Wow. It was...
As podcasters.
Yeah. If you want to... Oh, hang on. If only we were really good at this and knew what we were doing. I'm going to show Thomas.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's gettable.
I'm showing Thomas the file name for this episode. I did use all 8 alphanumeric characters.
It's very short alphabet. If you have any guesses as to what the file name for this episode was, or film suggestions, or any other sort of comments, do leave them down in the YouTube comments, or on our socials, or on Spotify, or wherever else you think you are likely to get to us.
Indeed.
And that is sensible. Do feel free to do so. With that, let's wrap this episode up.
We shall.
By moving on.
Oh, moving on.
Pick a film for next week so we can go to bed.
It's your turn.
It is my turn. All right. Next week, we are going to watch a film made in 1948.
Okay.
What do you think it is?
Ooh, I can think of a film from 1948 that I can remember specifically because those numbers are in a different order in a film from that year.
Ah. I'm going to read a plot synopsis.
Uh-huh.
All right. Here we go. This story features Humphrey Bogart, Walter Houston, and Tim Holt as a trio of down-and-out Americans, or as they say in this plot synopsis, Americans, in 1920s Tampico. Pooling their resources, they strike off into the mountains of Mexico in search of gold. Hounded by jungle Indians, a fortune-hunting Texan, and cold-blooded banditos, they must finally confront the most dangerous adversaries of all, themselves.
One, it's the book that the film is based on that's from 1948. 2, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about either.
I'm talking about 1984.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Which, no, that film was not released in 1948. I think it was also released in 1984.
Okay. Well, this film was actually prompted just a few minutes ago by a offhand comment that Thomas made.
Right.
Concerning badgers.
Right. Okay. That line is basically all I know from that film.
Indeed. And so, therefore, I pivoted completely from what I was going to propose for next week to this film. And the film is the 1948 The Treasure of the Sierra Madre.
Right.
That's what we're watching next week. Thomas is looking a bit bemused. I do not think you've seen it.
No, I have not.
No, I've seen it a number of times, and it is on the shelf. I don't know whether it's streaming anywhere. Is it streaming anywhere, Thomas? Or am I going to get it before
You are
do?
probably going to get there before me. I'm a little out of it.
So am I.
Not gonna lie.
It is not streaming anywhere in Australia other than to rent on Apple TV, Amazon, Google Play.
The usual suspects.
YouTube, yeah. And you can buy it in exactly the same places. But that's what we're watching. A bit of black and white classic, westernish kind of movie. We hope that you can join us when we watch The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. But until then, we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
You have been listening to Cellulose Free. Your hosts were Colin, who produces and edits the show, and Thomas, who makes the artwork and music. Cellulose Free is recorded in the Deranged Cat Studios in scenic Tasmania, Australia. We keep track of our extensive physical media collection through My Movies, which we highly recommend. You can find links to that, as well as other places you can find us in the show notes. Cellulose Free is a Hi Hello production.
Yes. 1984 book released in 1948. Film released in 1984.
Which I did go to see.
Right.
Yeah. She's a bleak film.
She's a bleak book.
Yeah. I can honestly not remember whether I have read the book. I was probably meant to read the book. I've got a feeling that it did come up as a book that I was supposed to read.
I read the book of my own accord.
Yes, I poked myself in the eye just for the fun of it. So, well, tell me, in the book, how well do you remember the book?
Oh, not particularly well.
Were there rats in it?
Probably.
Can't remember. Anyway, we've waffled on long enough. I'm going to stop this.
Stop spinning.
What, the world?
Stop. Show me my documents. I want to see my documents.
You're giving us hints as to what film you're next going to suggest, which would be The Core, where the core stops spinning.